Hey everyone. So I'm not sure how many people know about this yet, but there's been a pretty big change in the social media world. And it just exposed a lot of misinformation and a lot of outside influence that can mess with a country's stability. Today I want to talk about the big change over on the X platform, formerly known as Twitter. With that new update, we're now able to see that many of the well-known MAGA X accounts weren't even from the United States to begin with. And we'd be naive to think that kind of influence isn't targeting Canada as well. So we're going to dig into that in today's video. Before we start, today's backdrop comes from Robert, who sent in this sunset photo from Shediac, New Brunswick. He sent over 4 photos, and it was really tough for me to choose which one to select, because they were all great photos. Really appreciate you sending this over, Robert. All right, let's get started.
Hi Vedika. So Elon Musk's platform X, it's just launched a new feature. It shows where the account is operating from. And it's led to outrage when some rather unusual locations popped up. Tell us more.
That's right, Sharon. A new feature on X went live globally this weekend. Now it will display which region or which country an account is based in. And there has been certainly some interesting discoveries politically towards political accounts. Now the app erupted after several prominent and viral Make America Great Again accounts were in fact found to not be in the United States. Let's take a look.
Now let me pause it here for a minute. This report focuses on the popular MAGA accounts on X. I'm sure most of us on this channel don't really pay attention to them. But think about how this relates to Canada and the maple MAGA hate that we get north of the border.
Now, I want to first take a look at this account. This account is MAGA Nation. This is certainly one of the most prominent MAGA accounts. It describes itself as America First, Patriot Voice for We the People. We can see there's nearly 400,000 followers. And what I will say is that this is an account that racks up hundreds of thousands of views, reshares, engagement, certainly. However, the data from this new rollout shows us that, in fact, MAGA Nation, this account here, is not listed as being in the United States. It is listed as being based in Eastern Europe in a non-EU country.
This is a huge revelation, especially with all the political turmoil happening around the world. Not just the Canada-US relations, but even the Ukraine-Russia conflict, and everything else going on globally. To relate it back to Canada, outside influences are most likely interfering with the 51st state nonsense, the Alberta separation talk, and fueling the Maple MAGA movement. Now I know many of you are going to say in the comments, GTL, we already knew this is old news. And yeah, I suspected it as well. But this update on X finally proves that a lot of these loud accounts pushing division in Canada might not even be in Canada at all. They could be spewing their garbage from Eastern Europe, South Asia, or anywhere outside of our borders. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you proof that one of my previous copycats wasn't even from Canada. And you'll also want to hear about what I have to say about a lot of YouTube channels that are out there right now.
Now, I have another very interesting example I want to draw your attention to. This is an account, a pro-MAGA account, that says here in this recent post, President Trump is delivering exactly what I voted for. Now, whether the user of this account really did vote for President Trump is unclear because the account is, again, listed as being based in a non-EU country in Eastern Europe. Now, I have several other examples here. We have American Voice, which is in fact based in India. We have here America First, which is based in Bangladesh. We have even Republican Media, which is based in Sri Lanka, according to the data.
India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. These X accounts had major influence in the US when it came to the MAGA crowd. I searched for them on X, and it looks like some of them have been shut down, probably because they've been exposed. But now I really want to say something important. A lot of the info and rhetoric that's spewed online is just gasoline being thrown onto the fire inside countries that these people don't even live in.
Now, I also want to talk about 2 massive MAGA accounts. These are 2 of the biggest accounts. They have both since been suspended, although it's not clear why. But these were 2 of the largest MAGA accounts, and both of them are listed as being based in Nigeria. Now, I just want to reiterate, this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the massive amounts of accounts I saw that were in fact being exposed as being listed somewhere else. This isn't an entire shock, I will say, because fake profiles, disinformation, and in fact, coordinated networks to sow discord online, these have long been prevalent on X. But clearly, Sharon, what we can see here is that this new feature, this new rollout, it has led to confusion, it has led to outrage, and in particular, it has led to ridicule.
And Vedika, one account that's faced a lot of scrutiny was the US Department of Homeland Security. What happened there?
Yes, there was some speculation about the official location of the account of the US Department of Homeland Security. Now, in fact, there was even a screen recording that was published showing that the account was not based in the United States, but instead based out of Israel. So this is the screen recording here. Someone has filmed themselves doing so, or having said they have. And there you have it. The screen recording shows that the account is based in Israel.
Now, I'm guessing this might be a hoax. There are ways to edit what you see on a website by going into the Google Chrome developer tools and changing the display. So any new data you see in videos online, showing where people are based, needs to be taken with caution. But the best way is just to check yourself. I spot checked a bunch of X accounts that I always assumed were based in the United States because the hate was so strong. And it turns out a lot of them were actually based from the 3 countries I mentioned earlier: India, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. It's interesting and honestly a little bit satisfying to see some of these so-called pro-MAGA accounts not even being anywhere near the US, just stirring the pot, and now they're getting exposed. Now, David Pakman, I'm sure many of you know who he is. He has a really good take on this and how much these accounts from India, Bangladesh, and everywhere else has an influence on the MAGA crowd. And for us Canadians watching, just think Maple MAGA every time he's talking about the MAGA in the US.
MAGA influencer accounts, the ones that push the stuff of Trump's talking points and flooding the replies and saying everything is so good and thanks, Patriot Dad from Nebraska loves the tariffs, this sort of thing. Accounts that are boosting these people are based in Macedonia, they're based in India, these Eric Trump fan accounts, Kai Trump News, Caroline Levitt News, these sort of like soft propaganda accounts that are in the replies. They are based in other places. Another example, here's Gina, Gina Patterson. This is America. We drink beer, own guns, and speak English. If you don't like it, move. It turns out that account is based in Africa. That's unusual. Here's another one, MAGA Nation, with, I believe this one has like 300,000 followers. This one's based in Eastern Europe. What a surprise. What a shock. So it turns out that based on what this feature has revealed, a lot of Trump's online support that we go, damn, I just posted about whatever on Twitter and I've got 30 Patriot Dads in my replies. Who are these people? It turns out that some of these accounts aren't based in the United States.
Now think of this from a Canadian perspective. How many times have we seen the same kind of rhetoric on social media stirring the pot here at home? Accounts pushing Alberta to separate. Accounts insisting that Prime Minister Mark Carney isn't doing a good job. And look, there are plenty of actual Canadians saying these. I'm not denying that for a second. What I am saying is that there's absolutely outside influence egging Canadians on, fueling the separation talk, and trying to destabilize us from the inside. And I have proof of this from an issue I dealt with back in August. And I'll show you the proof in a minute. But if you agree with me that this is happening in Canada, hit that like button below. And if you're not subscribed yet, help the channel out by tapping the subscribe button.
They aren't who they claim to be. And it was Elon Musk's own transparency tool that exposed them. Now, you may remember that for years, we have been reporting on the fact that a lot of these right-wing influence campaigns appear to be run from overseas. And the people who have pointed that out most loudly, they're called hysterical. Oh, you're seeing Russians under every rock or whatever. Elon pushes out an update to Twitter, and all of a sudden, Russia, Nigeria, India, Macedonia, Eastern Europe, Thailand, South Asia. Now, the funniest part about all of this is that it happened because Elon turned the lights on. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's possible that some of these are glitches. Like, some of these don't make any sense whatsoever. And so I'm still waiting to get kind of like the final analysis of what this feature is exposing and how accurate it is. But it is extraordinarily, extraordinarily funny.
It is. And David is right. The lights have finally been turned on, ironically by Elon. Now I'm going to stop David's video here. But if you want to watch the full thing, the link is in the description below. Yeah. Hey, while you're at it, give David a sub as well. He, along with Keith Edwards and Adam Mockler, are great at breaking down... are great at breaking down what's happening in their country. Now I want to get into how this affected me back in August. If you've been subbed to my channel and you watched my videos since around July, you'll remember that I had major issues with copycat accounts. They were copying everything: my scripts, the thumbnails, the look and feel of my channel page, and even my signature monotone voice. I mean, look at these thumbnails. Side-by-side comparisons between my thumbnails and the copycats. If you were scrolling through YouTube's homepage, you'd honestly have to look pretty closely to figure out which channel was theirs and which one was mine. The copycat even emailed me to say that my channel was inspiration to his work, yet somehow he felt he was doing nothing wrong. Right away though, through the email, just from the language, the tone, the cadence of how he typed, I knew he wasn't from Canada, but I had no proof. Thankfully, the community stepped in. You reported the channel, you pushed back, and now he's gone. But before YouTube finally terminated his channel, my guess is that the pressure got to him, because suddenly he switched gears, went full Maple MAGA, and started pushing the separation and doubled down on all that nonsense. Well, this guy was on X, and look where he's actually from: Pakistan. This is proof that is happening on YouTube as well, and I really wish YouTube had a feature that shows where a channel is actually based, because then we can clearly see which creators are truly Canadian and which ones are content farmers sitting in Pakistan, India, Eastern Europe, or wherever else. I have nothing to hide. Mine would say Malaysia right now. This topic actually really irks me. Why? Because I put so much time into this channel, hours and hours of work. I pushed myself way out of my comfort zone, got over my fear of public speaking, which I still have a bit of a fear of, and built this channel to stand up for my country. Even now, being a Canadian abroad, I may not physically be in Canada, but my mind is always on what's happening back home. Also my wife too. Hi. She's looking at me with a bit of a glare right now. But back on topic, YouTube is just as plagued as X when it comes to channels pumping out misinformation. AI channels are popping up like a factory line, claiming to be proud Canadians, reading generic ChatGPT style monologues with some completely random stock video in the background. You know exactly which videos I'm talking about. Some of you have even sent me their videos asking me to cover them on my channel, but I'm not going to entertain those because whatever AI script they're reading can't be verified, and half the time it's just generic info. What frustrates me the most is when I see these AI channels talk about Canada separating, or the boycott is slowing down, or the 51st state is somehow becoming real, all while knowing that these channels are most likely being run from the same countries that I mentioned earlier. So what's the point of this whole rant? It's to warn everyone to be careful about what you're watching, who you're watching, and where the information actually comes from. Just like what we're seeing on X, a lot of these so-called Canada YouTube creators are most likely operating out of the same countries that X just exposed. And honestly, some of them are probably the exact same people who are running the AI channels flooding the platform. But the bigger point here is that outside influence is now confirmed on X, and it's almost guaranteed that the same thing is happening on YouTube and in the comments section. So what do I recommend? Stick with the creators you know are actually here for Canada. People like Todd Maffin, Klaus Kellerman, Bill Kelly, Wrong Enough to Know Better, Planet D, and many others. Because when you're watching those AI channels, there's a really good chance that you're supporting someone from Eastern Europe, India, Pakistan, or anywhere else outside of Canada. Not someone who genuinely cares about what's happening in our country, but someone who is trying to stir up division just for the views and the ad revenue. Alright, that's all I got for today's video. Sorry for the rant, but this topic really does hit a nerve for me. If you're still watching, I appreciate you sticking around to the end, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.